He died in his sleep because of this. I beg you, stop doing it. It leads to heart attacks and strokes. Welcome back to Mobile Lab, where we uncover vital health insights that can profoundly impact your well-being. Before we delve into today's critical discussion, I urge you to pause for a moment and lend your full attention to what I am about to convey. This information holds the potential to genuinely save your life, or indeed, the life of someone you hold dear. What I am sharing with you today is a crucial piece of knowledge, often overlooked and rarely mentioned by medical professionals during routine checkups. It's a silent, insidious threat that operates discreetly, often in the quiet darkness of the night, while you remain completely unaware, yet it causes significant harm to countless individuals every single evening. Allow me to illustrate this with the story of a cherished friend of mine, Harold. He was a kind, retired teacher, 71 years old, residing in Columbus, Ohio. One morning, his wife made a horrifying discovery. Harold was unresponsive. Just hours before, he had gone to bed feeling perfectly well, experiencing no chest pain, no discernible warning signs whatsoever. Tragically, by the time the ambulance arrived, it was already too late. Harold had passed away. The cause, confirmed by medical professionals, was a massive heart event that occurred silently while he was deep in sleep. Upon reviewing Harold's health history and the subtle changes he had experienced in the months leading up to this tragedy, I identified something his primary care physician had entirely missed. This overlooked factor is a prevalent yet unrecognized set of behaviors that millions of seniors unknowingly engage in right now, quietly damaging their hearts, thickening their blood, and setting a perilous stage for a future stroke or sudden cardiac demise. The gravity of this situation is underscored by extensive scientific research. A major study, meticulously published in the prestigious European Heart Journal, meticulously tracked over 84,000 adults, ranging from 60 to 80 years old, over an extended period of 9 years. The findings were stark and alarming. Individuals who consistently adhered to a specific set of nighttime habits faced a staggering 67% higher risk of dying from a heart-related problem during their sleep, in stark contrast to those who implemented simple yet profound adjustments to their evening routines. This isn't a minor statistical fluctuation. A 67% increased risk represents a monumental difference. It can literally be the demarcation between waking up to greet a new day and not waking up at all. I understand that some of you might be thinking, but Dr. Lee, I feel perfectly fine. My sleep is undisturbed. Surely this doesn't apply to me. And that precisely is the perilous mindset that costs lives. The most dangerous health conditions, the ones that pose the greatest threat, rarely announce their presence with overt symptoms. Instead, they accumulate silently, month after month, year after year, much like rust imperceptibly corroding the inside of a pipe. The damage remains invisible, hidden from view, until the pipe suddenly bursts, leading to catastrophic failure. Today, I am going to guide you through 6 specific actions that seniors urgently need to cease doing before they retire for the night. These practices are ranked in order of criticality, from the 6th most impactful down to the single most vital change. As we approach the number 1 habit on this list, its significance becomes increasingly paramount. I will tell you now that the second item on this list profoundly shocked even me when I first encountered the research, and the vast majority of you are likely engaging in it without any awareness of its danger. Therefore, I implore you to stay with me until the very end, because missing even one of these crucial insights could potentially cost you everything. However, before we fully immerse ourselves in these life-saving details, I would genuinely appreciate hearing from you. Please take a moment to leave a comment below, sharing your age and whether you have ever experienced waking up in the dead of night with your heart inexplicably racing, or a terrifying sensation of being unable to catch your breath. I personally read every single comment posted here, and your candid responses are invaluable, genuinely helping me to craft even more pertinent and impactful content for our community. All right, let's begin this vital journey. The 6th habit that seniors must reconsider, and this one might genuinely surprise many of you due to its seemingly harmless nature, is consuming a substantial meal within 2 hours of going to bed. I recognize that millions of individuals partake in this ritual every single night: a late dinner, a generous snack, or finishing off some leftovers just before turning in. It often feels comforting, a seemingly innocuous way to wind down. However, let me illuminate what is actually transpiring inside your body when you do this, and the reality is far from comforting. When you ingest a large meal, your digestive system is immediately tasked with an immense responsibility, demanding a huge surge of blood flow to efficiently process the ingested food. Consequently, your heart is forced to work substantially harder, pumping a greater volume of blood to your stomach and intestines. For someone in their 30s, a healthy, robust heart can typically manage this increased workload without significant strain. However, groundbreaking research conducted at the University of São Paulo has meticulously demonstrated that in adults over the age of 65, this post-meal physiological stress dramatically increases blood pressure by an average of 22 points and elevates heart rate for an extended period of up to 3 hours. Now, try to envision that intense physiological exertion occurring while you are lying flat asleep, with your body already entering its most vulnerable and recuperative state. Beyond the cardiovascular strain, there's the pervasive issue of acid reflux, which is exacerbated by a full stomach and a supine position, and its connection to something called vagal stimulation. When stomach acid, particularly after a heavy meal, travels upward into the esophagus, a phenomenon that occurs much more readily when you are lying down, it can inadvertently trigger irregular heart rhythms or arrhythmias, especially in individuals who are already predisposed to them. After the age of 70, the muscular valve, known as the lower esophageal sphincter, which is responsible for keeping stomach acid contained, naturally weakens significantly, making this problem substantially worse and more dangerous. The remedy for this is remarkably straightforward and effective. Ensure you finish your last substantial meal at least 3 hours before you intend to go to bed. If true hunger strikes in the evening, opt for a small, easily digestible snack, such as a handful of walnuts or half a banana. These provide sustenance without burdening your digestive system. Furthermore, pairing your evening meal with a short, brisk 10-minute walk after dinner offers additional protective benefits. Research from the University of Limerick unequivocally found that merely 10 minutes of walking post-meal reduces blood sugar spikes by a significant 28% and simultaneously takes considerable pressure off your heart during the nocturnal hours. This single modification alone, if you implement it starting tonight, will immediately begin to safeguard your heart. Let's transition to the fifth crucial habit, and this is something your doctor has almost certainly never explicitly mentioned to you. Nearly 60% of seniors over the age of 70 engage in this practice every evening without giving it a second thought. I am referring to the timing of your blood pressure medication, specifically taking it in the morning when, for many, it would be far more beneficial to take it at night. A truly groundbreaking study, once again published in the esteemed European Heart Journal, followed an impressive cohort of over 19,000 patients for more than 6 years. The researchers uncovered a profoundly significant finding. Individuals who took their prescribed blood pressure medications at bedtime rather than in the morning experienced a remarkable 45% lower risk of suffering a heart attack, a 49% lower risk of developing heart failure, and a truly stunning 66% lower risk of experiencing a stroke. The underlying physiological reason for this dramatic difference lies in a phenomenon known as nocturnal hypertension. This is a condition where blood pressure spikes dangerously high, specifically during the early morning hours, typically between 3 and 6 a.m. This particular window is, in fact, the most common time for heart attacks and strokes to occur. When you take your medication in the morning, its peak efficacy typically occurs around midday, and its protective effects begin to wane by that critical, dangerous early morning window. However, when you strategically take your medication at night, it is working at its full therapeutic strength precisely when your body is most vulnerable and needs its protective action the most. Now, and this is critically important, absolutely do not alter the timing of your medication without first consulting with your doctor. Every individual situation is unique, and certain medications must be taken with food or have other specific requirements. However, I strongly encourage you to bring this specific study and its findings to your next appointment and initiate that crucial conversation with your healthcare provider. It possesses the genuine potential to save your life. Our journey through critical bedtime habits brings us to number 4 on our list, something I have coined the silent dehydration trap. This represents one of the most consistently underestimated heart risks for individuals over the age of 65. Herein lies the dangerous irony. Most seniors consciously decide to consume less water in the evening hours with the understandable intention of avoiding disruptive bathroom trips during the night. On the surface, this instinct appears entirely logical and practical. However, the profound and terrifying impact this habit has on your blood while you sleep is something that deserves immediate attention. As we naturally age, our kidneys gradually become less efficient at concentrating urine, a physiological change that contributes to nocturnal urination. Furthermore, the body's intrinsic thirst mechanism, a complex system intricately controlled by a specialized region of the brain called the hypothalamus, tends to become blunted and less sensitive after approximately age 60. Research emanating from the University of Connecticut has compellingly shown that older adults can experience significant levels of dehydration without ever consciously feeling thirsty. Now, let's connect this directly to its profound implications for your heart and brain. When you are dehydrated during sleep, your blood undergoes a critical alteration. It becomes thicker and far more viscous, or stickier. To conceptualize this, consider the stark difference between water flowing effortlessly through a pipe versus the laborious movement of thick honey. This thickened blood is substantially harder for your heart to pump efficiently, placing an undue strain on the cardiovascular system. Moreover, and perhaps even more perilously, this dense blood forms clots much more readily, which is precisely the mechanism by which ischemic strokes occur. A significant study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology found that adults over 65 who were even mildly dehydrated at bedtime exhibited blood viscosity levels strikingly similar to those observed immediately prior to a stroke. The judicious solution here is not to guzzle large quantities of water right before bed, as that will indeed lead to frequent bathroom excursions throughout the night. Instead, aim to drink a full glass of water enriched with electrolytes, particularly potassium and magnesium, approximately 2 hours before you intend to sleep. Additionally, incorporating foods naturally abundant in potassium, such as a small sweet potato or a few dried apricots, into your late afternoon routine can effectively help maintain optimal hydration through the night without overwhelming your bladder. Magnesium offers the added significant benefit of relaxing artery walls, thereby contributing to a natural lowering of blood pressure during sleep. Together, these two essential nutrients act like a gentle yet remarkably effective protective cushion for your heart throughout the entire night. Before we delve deeper into the most critical aspects of our discussion, if this channel and its content have proven helpful to you, please take just 5 seconds right now to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We are a growing community of individuals who firmly believe that aging powerfully with vitality and independence is absolutely within our grasp. Every single like and subscription helps us to extend our reach to more seniors who are in urgent need of this vital, life-changing information. Your engagement truly means the world to me and to every member of this supportive community. All right, let's press onward because we are now entering the most critical territory, approaching the habits that pose the most immediate and severe threats. Number 3 on our list breaks my heart because it is a pattern I witness with alarming frequency every single week. And I first encountered its devastating impact firsthand with a patient of mine named Dorothy, a 78-year-old from Tucson, Arizona. Dorothy initially came to me after enduring her second minor stroke in just 18 months. She was diligently taking all the appropriate medications prescribed to her. She engaged in regular exercise, and her diet was, by all reasonable standards, quite healthy. Yet, when I meticulously inquired about her evening routine, she described a habit that I immediately recognized as a profoundly serious problem. Every night, without fail, Dorothy would spend 2 to 3 hours lying in bed, engrossed in scrolling through her tablet. She would consume news, browse social media, feeds, and watch family videos, all with the bright screen just inches from her face. She had absolutely no idea that this seemingly innocuous nightly ritual was directly and insidiously destabilizing her heart night after night. Let's examine the compelling science behind this. The omnipresent blue light emitted from screens, be it from phones, tablets, or televisions, directly and powerfully suppresses the natural production of melatonin in your body. While most people instinctively think of melatonin solely as a sleep hormone, researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital, a prestigious institution affiliated with Harvard Medical School, have conclusively demonstrated that melatonin plays an undeniably critical and multifaceted role in protecting the heart. It acts as a potent antioxidant, meticulously safeguarding the delicate lining of your blood vessels from the very kind of cellular damage that over time leads to the insidious buildup of plaque, the stiffening of arteries, and ultimately catastrophic events like heart attacks and strokes. When melatonin production is suppressed by the pervasive use of screens at night, that vital protective shield around your cardiovascular system is alarmingly lowered. In adults over the age of 70, whose natural melatonin production is already significantly reduced by as much as 75% compared to younger adults, this additional suppression by artificial light sources is particularly devastating. A powerful study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found a direct and alarming link between chronic nighttime light exposure and a substantial 43% increase in major heart problems among older adults. Dorothy, understanding the gravity of the situation, diligently followed my advice and implemented a strict no-screen policy after 8 p.m. Within a mere 6 weeks, she reported sleeping more deeply and restoratively than she had in years. And within 4 months, her inflammatory markers, specifically a critical indicator known as C-reactive protein, had plummeted by over 30%. She has not experienced another cardiac event since. The message is clear and urgent. Cease all screen use at least 2 hours before bed. It stands as one of the most powerful and protective heart decisions you can make. Now, we arrive at number 2, and as I promised earlier, this particular habit will undoubtedly surprise you. It is sleeping on your back. Before you hastily close this video and perhaps conclude that I've lost my mind, I implore you to hear me out completely, because the robust scientific research supporting this assertion is absolutely undeniable. When you lie flat on your back to sleep, the forces of gravity cause your tongue and the soft tissues located in your throat to fall backward, consequently partially, or in more severe cases, fully blocking your airway. This physiological phenomenon is the primary underlying driver behind obstructive sleep apnea, a pervasive and dangerous condition that is estimated to affect an astounding 50% of adults over the age of 65, the vast majority of whom have never been formally diagnosed. During these repeated apnea episodes, your brain, sensing a critical lack of oxygen, sounds an urgent emergency alarm. This triggers a cascade of physiological responses, flooding your body with potent stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood pressure can spike to dangerously high levels, dozens and sometimes even hundreds of times throughout a single night. Each individual spike, while lasting only a few seconds, brief enough that you never fully awaken from sleep, is nevertheless long enough to inflict serious and cumulative damage to your cardiovascular system. The American Heart Association now officially recognizes untreated sleep apnea as a major independent risk factor for a host of serious conditions, including high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, heart attack, and stroke. A significant study published in the prestigious journal Circulation revealed that adults suffering from moderate to severe sleep apnea had a staggering 58% higher risk of experiencing a fatal heart rhythm problem, specifically during sleep. This, tragically, is how seemingly healthy individuals can die quietly and unexpectedly in the night. If you share a bed with a partner, I urge you to ask them if you snore loudly or if they have ever observed you seemingly stopping breathing for moments during your sleep. These are often unmistakable signs. If you sleep alone, a simple yet effective diagnostic tool is to record yourself using your phone's voice memo application for one night. The telltale signs are often incredibly clear. The solution to this often overlooked danger is both simple and profoundly protective: sleeping on your side. Furthermore, sleeping specifically on your left side has the added benefit of reducing pressure on the heart. A simple body pillow strategically placed behind your back can serve as an effective barrier, preventing you from inadvertently rolling onto your back during the night. For individuals with confirmed sleep apnea, a CPAP device is not merely a treatment, it is a truly life-saving intervention. Do not allow stubbornness, perceived discomfort, or embarrassment to deter you from consistently utilizing it. The benefits far outweigh any minor inconveniences. And now we have arrived at number 1. The single most dangerous bedtime habit for seniors, the one that not only encapsulates but also amplifies every other heart risk I have meticulously described today. Are you mentally prepared for this critical revelation? It is chronic, untreated emotional stress allowed to fester and ruminate unchecked in the vulnerable hours immediately preceding sleep. Take a moment to genuinely reflect on your typical evening routine. Do you find yourself habitually watching the evening news, consuming reports of politics, crime, and global disasters right before you attempt to sleep? Do you often lie awake in bed, your mind relentlessly churning through worries about your health, your financial security, or the well-being of your family? Do you replay difficult conversations, unresolved conflicts, or perceive slights from the day, allowing them to cycle endlessly in your thoughts? If your answer to any of these questions is yes, then you are actively engaging in what researchers at UC Berkeley aptly term rumination before rest, and its profound impact on your heart is nothing short of catastrophic. Let's explore the intricate physiological mechanism at play here. When you experience psychological stress, particularly sustained stress, your body's adrenal glands release a surge of cortisol and adrenaline, precisely the same powerful stress hormones that are triggered, albeit intermittently, by sleep apnea. However, in the case of chronic emotional stress, these hormones are not merely brief spikes. They are sustained at elevated levels. Chronic evening stress keeps these detrimental hormones elevated throughout the entire night, critically preventing your blood pressure from completing its natural and essential nighttime dip. In a healthy individual, blood pressure typically decreases by 10 to 20% during sleep, providing the heart and blood vessels with crucial and much-needed recovery time. In stark contrast, for individuals burdened by chronic stress, that vital dip in blood pressure never fully materializes. A comprehensive 20-year study jointly conducted by the American Heart Association and Johns Hopkins found that adults who consistently reported chronic nighttime worry and high levels of evening stress had a staggering 72% higher lifetime risk of experiencing fatal heart events when compared to their peers who reported lower levels of evening stress. After the age of 70, when the body's natural ability to regulate cortisol is already significantly reduced by approximately 40%, this detrimental effect of sustained stress becomes even more pronounced and dangerous. This, I believe, is what ultimately took my dear friend Harold. It wasn't merely one isolated factor. Instead, it was the insidious accumulation of multiple stressors and unhealthy habits. The late, heavy meals, the silent dehydration, the pervasive screen use, the dangerous habit of backsleeping, and beneath it all, the profound, unspoken burden of a man who worried incessantly every night about his retirement finances without ever confiding in anyone. His heart, caught in this relentless cycle, never received the crucial recovery time it so desperately needed to rest and repair. The solution to this pervasive problem, while requiring intentionality, is not overly complicated. I advocate for practicing what I call a cardiac wind down for at least 30 minutes before you intend to go to bed. Begin by consciously turning off all news sources and screens. Next, engage in a simple yet powerful act. Write down 3 things that went well for you today. Real research from UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center conclusively demonstrates that this deceptively simple act measurably lowers cortisol levels within a mere 20 minutes. Simultaneously, practice 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale deeply for 4 counts, hold your breath gently for 7 counts, and then exhale slowly and completely for 8 counts. This powerful technique actively engages and activates your body's natural calm down system, directly lowering both your heart rate and blood pressure. If prayer or meditation is an existing part of your life, this specific time before bed represents its most potent application, serving not merely as a spiritual practice, but as genuine medicine for your heart. Complement these practices with the strategic intake of magnesium glycinate, typically 200 to 400 milliohm, taken approximately 30 minutes before bed. This particular form of magnesium possesses the unique ability to readily cross the blood-brain barrier, directly calming the nervous system while simultaneously relaxing the walls of your blood vessels. Studies from the National Institutes of Health have compellingly shown that it significantly reduces nighttime cortisol levels and improves overall sleep quality in adults over 65 by an impressive margin of up to 39%. Think of this combination of practices and supplementation as a gentle, reassuring hand on your heart's shoulder, softly telling it that it is genuinely safe to rest and recover tonight. I want to conclude with a profound truth that I impart to every single patient I encounter, regardless of their age or existing condition. It is never, ever too late. This is not merely empty encouragement or wishful thinking. It is a fundamental biological reality. The human body, even at 75, 80, or 85 years of age, possesses a truly remarkable and inherent ability to heal, adapt, and regenerate, especially when we consciously identify and remove the elements that are actively harming it. Your heart, resilient and powerful, yearns to continue beating steadily and healthily for many more decades. Your brain, with its incredible capacity, desires to remain sharp, vibrant, and fully engaged. Your legs, strong and capable, want to continue carrying you to your grandchildren's birthday celebrations, to your serene garden in the morning, and to the peaceful solace of your porch in the evening. Every single change I have meticulously described today, from consciously stopping late meals and judiciously adjusting your medication timing, to consistently staying hydrated, resolutely eliminating screen use before bed, thoughtfully changing your sleep position, and diligently protecting your emotional peace. Each of these vital steps is entirely within your immediate reach, not next month, but tonight. You did not reach this remarkable age by being weak or complacent. You made it here precisely because you are inherently resilient, and the people who cherish you deeply need you to keep going, not merely to be alive, but to be truly present, vital, and authentically yourself. That, ultimately, is what these life-saving habits protect, not just the rhythmic beating of your heart, but the entirety of your precious life. All of the scientific studies and research I have referenced and mentioned today are meticulously linked in the description below this video for your further exploration. Please, I implore you, share this video with someone you profoundly love, a spouse, a sibling, a cherished friend, because you may never fully comprehend whose life it ultimately saves. If you haven't already, subscribe to Mobile Lab. Please take a moment to do so right now by clicking the button below. We consistently release new, evidence-based content every single week, specifically designed to empower you to live longer, stronger, and with the invaluable independence you genuinely deserve. And before you depart, please leave me a comment right now. Tell me, which of these 6 crucial habits surprised you the most? And perhaps even more importantly, are you genuinely committed to making any of these changes starting tonight? I personally read and value every single comment, and I eagerly anticipate hearing from you. Take exceptionally good care of yourselves. I will undoubtedly see you in the next video.